On my thing, I used to be a conservative, and so I have a very um, unique way of looking at propaganda from conservative sources. I just watched a commercial that they made. I see crying. So it's talking about basically the new school season beginning, school year beginning, and starts off talking about these kids talking about how. Um, Oh, mom bought me a new cell phone, and mom bought me this, and mom bought me that. And it goes into, um, what's your charge? It goes into how uh, these socks help to build a good tourniquet. And this dude had a school skateboard he used to break out a window, and the black girl at the end has her phone. She's telling her mom, "I love you, mom." And you hear the door gets kicked in. She's in the bathroom in the stall, and the door kicked in. Somebody walks in, big boots on, and it ends. It goes to black. And I just, Jesus, I kept thinking to myself, this is Trump's America. And he keeps talking about mental illness, and he even said that we used to have these mental hospitals and stuff. Well, who changed that? That was Ronald Reagan. Not that I believe him, because I was actually talking about this earlier, that to me, white mass shooters are new lynch mobs. The idea of white men running around, hanging up people, killing people, shooting. This is nothing new to the Caucasian. This is nothing new to him or his culture. They've always been like this. They've always been destructive. They've always been violent for no reason whatsoever. They've always been like that. That's par for the course. It's like par for the course. Stay on subject. That shit actually touched me, man. Like I don't even really. I like to believe I'm kind of jaded, and that shit bothered me watching that. That these kids are all happy, and then just like that, these things can be used to save our lives. I want to get some quick clots soon. That's something I want to get, and some other things I need to get as well, because I recognize as a black man, I'm at war with the only enemy we ever had, which was white supremacy. There ain't no bigger gangster than white supremacy. Never has been, never will. So it's wow. That shit touched me, man. I thought about an article I read earlier about Beto. He was talking about the recent shootings in Odessa, in Midland, Texas, with the oil field stuff. And this fire chief guy, actually came out and was mad at something Beto said. Now, I don't follow everything they say. I wasn't aware of the intricacies of what he had said. Basically, Beto said that there was so much violence, there were so many people dead or shot, there weren't enough ambulances to get them. The fire chief, real talk, actually got mad and got mad at Beto and said that actually they got there in half the time they normally would have got there, and all this bullshit. And then they did eventually admit in the article, they were like, well, yeah, there were a lot of people. They couldn't just throw them in the truck and go. They had to, triage and all that. And I said to myself, you've got to be on some really hard drugs. I mean, really hard drugs to take what I just said and say that he was disparaging first responders or firefighters. The article said first responders. You got to be, but I realize once again, this is Trump's America. See, these white supremacists are so bought out. They want Trump's idea of America to succeed so badly that any type of attack, any type of argument against Trump is an argument against first responders or the military. It's the same thing with Kaepernick. You take one man protest against something the government does, and you use that to say, no, he hates all police, all military. Well, that's a lie. I mean, that's a blatant lie. You have to be really stupid to believe that. You have to be really stupid. Really stupid. And I realize now that it is what it is. I realize that now. It just is what it is. And it don't even surprise me no more to see stuff like that. It really doesn't. Beto wasn't attacking firefighters. He dramatized something, and I understand it. And I get it. Because we're being targeted. I totally get that. But as a socialist, I've come to determination, as just all other working class people, people in the struggle, whether it be unions, whether union trade people, or black people, or Hispanics, legal immigrants, whatever. I've come to the opinion now that if you're going to stand up against white supremacy, stand up against status quo, you can't do it and not have these crackers get mad at you. Because we're there now. We're really at the time now to where any argument against Trump is going to be pushed into something political. Like we're really there. We're there now, guys. I don't really know what to say. How you can take a man talking about kids dying and people dying and think he's attacking firefighters. Like, dude, he probably doesn't even know, like, what department arrived on the scene. There you go. If this guy hates, I bet you if somebody asked Beto right now, he couldn't even tell you who the ambulance service or the firefighters were, what agency they were. He couldn't tell you that because it wasn't personal. Now, if I said CMPD ain't shit, that's different. That's different. If I say medic ain't shit, that's different. He didn't single any agency out by name. He spoke about first responder. Like I said, we have to understand that at this point with white supremacy, you can't stand strong without angering the oppressor. Because one thing about these people I've learned is they think that because they're police officers or military, they think they are like a part of the ruling class, but they're not. You're not. You just serve it. You just serve that. Even when I was not a even when I was a conservative libertarian, I knew that then. With SRT, I never said this is my truck. That's SRT's truck. I always said that. I never told them this is my truck. Never. It's not my property. I worked for them, and I don't work for them now. When better pastures. Same thing with police or whatever. You are agent employee. Okay? I understand that. Maybe I'm getting out of subject. I just that bothered me. That really bothered me to see that. But like the Young Turk said, we need to have more, and we need to have more stuff like this. We need to have more discussion about this, because Trump's whole rhetoric is to rile up angry white men. I see no reason why you have less mass shooters this year. You may have more, maybe worse. God forbid. I need to pray about that. But if you're not speaking out against white supremacy and Trump and his rhetoric, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Peace out.